You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
This is Chip Gilchrist, voice of the Kingston Frontenacs. You're listening to OHL Overtime, an in-depth interview show highlighting the players, coaches, and broadcasters from around the Ontario Hockey League who make the league so great, as well as in-person coverage of events such as the OHL Playoffs, OHL Championship Series, OHL Combine, and more, exclusively on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Here's your program host, Brandon Caputo.
Welcome into another OHL game recap right here on OHL Overtime on the Armchair GM Sports Network, proudly brought to you by Wild Bill's Auto Repair, helping customers stay safe and confident on the road since 2012. Brandon Caputo here with you to break down Game 4 of the OHL Eastern Conference Finals between the North Bay Battalion and the Oshawa Generals. The Generals are looking for the 4-game sweep here on the road, and it was an exciting one. The Battalion, with their backs against the wall multiple times in this game, were able to pull out a big 5-4 overtime victory, sending their home crowd home happy and extending this series to at least 5 games back in Oshawa. So we'll get all of the game stats for you, the scoring summary with Jack Moore's highlights all series long that we brought you here on the show, as well as full post-game coverage analysis from the press conferences from both teams. We've got head coach Ryan Oulahan, as well as the overtime winner Sandis Vilmanis on the North Bay side, and then on Oshawa side, Coach Derek Laxdal and Colorado Avalanche first-rounder Calum Ritchie. So all that to come in segment 2 of today's show. But the Oshawa Generals, they had their chances in this game. They led in the third period with a minute left. Minute 9 was left on the clock. They had the lead in trying to close this series out. The goaltender pulled for North Bay. They get it tied late, and then a flurry of shots in overtime for the Oshawa Generals, including a crossbar from Beckett Seneca, which would have been his hat trick that we'll get into. But then the Battalion are able to get one down the ice and time and space for Sandis Vilmanis, the Florida Panthers property, and he buries it past Jacob Oster to get them the win. And it was obviously their season on the line here, as the experienced group didn't want to have the road team celebrate on their ice for a third straight year here at the North Bay Memorial Gardens, and they avoided that, at least to fight another day here. They're now down 3-1 in the series. They'll need to continue to run the table here if they want to advance to the OHL Championship. But you had heard head coach Ryan Oulahan talk about it in Game 3, that he was really confident going into Game 4, and there was a good reason for that, as the lineup had some storylines on it in itself. Anthony Romani, the 58 goal scorer and 111-point man during the regular season for the North Bay Battalion, was back in the lineup after missing all but one playoff game this year. He got injured in the first game for the North Bay Battalion and hasn't played in the playoffs since. But with his team's season on the line here, he was able to at least get in the lineup and have his presence felt there. You could tell he still wasn't 100%, but he was in the lineup tonight for the North Bay Battalion, which is great in itself. On the Oshawa side, Connor Punnett, who left the game in Game 3, wondering if he was going to be able to play or not. He took warm-ups, but they had the extra defenseman, Dresden Rodriguez, who eventually took his spot. Just before puck drop, they announced that Connor Punnett was going to be the scratch there. And I asked Derek Laxdal about that in the postgame. He doesn't really want to get into it, but you'll hear the answer regardless. So the Oshawa Generals were without one of their best defensemen in Connor Punnett. He brings so much back there as a leader and as a physical presence, as a man against boys at times, the way Connor Punnett's played for the Generals coming over from the Barrie Colts. And Connor Lockhart was okay to play as well. He took a hit against the boards late from Owen Van Steensel in Game 3, which resulted in a 5-minute major for the North Bay Battalion forward. No supplementary discipline for either Van Steensel or Bryce Cook, who were both assessed 5-minute majors in Game 4. So that's basically getting you caught up with the lineup. We'll get into the game stats brought to you by J&L Flooring. If you think get a better deal anywhere else, you don't know jack. Contact our Niagara Falls location, being your quality flooring project today. As far as the shots on net go in this game, 43-31 in favor of the North Bay Battalion. They outshot the Generals 13-7, 14-12, 14-6. So all three periods they led in the shots until overtime, where Oshawa, as I mentioned on the open, 6 shots in that opening portion of the overtime, which only lasted 6 minutes. So they were firing from all cylinders, including that crossbar from Beckett Seneca that would have ended the series. North Bay only needed 2 shots to end it here, so that's how the shots on net went. As far as the power play goes, we've heard in this series about Ryan Oulahen being frustrated at times with the way that the officials have called the series, but they led in the power play department tonight 3-1 over Oshawa, but neither team could score on the man advantage. Oshawa 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. North Bay 1 for 1, but we actually did see a shorthanded goal on Oshawa's side that we'll get into. As far as the face-off dot, North Bay led in that category as well, 38-29. Leading the way for the battalion in that sense was Dallin Wakely, 17-26, and Liam Arnsby, the captain, 15-26, in what could have possibly been his final OHL game. He will live another day, at least, in his OHL career. And on Oshawa's side, Dylan Robrick was 11 of 20, and Calum Ritchie was 10 of 20 as well. 2 of 7 for Owen Griffin. So not the greatest night on the dot for the Oshawa Generals, but they had every opportunity to win this game. They led it multiple times, and the battalion, just with their backs against the wall, were able to fight and claw their way back, earning at least a game in this series. So we'll get to the scoring summary tonight, brought to you by the Niagara Employment Help Center, helping people find work in Niagara since 1983. Check out their up-to-date job board at ehc.on.ca to find your next work opportunity today. The battalion once again opened the scoring, and it did not take long at all. 38 seconds in, a Ty Nelson shot, sitting in the crease, and Liam Arnsby, the captain, is able to kind of shovel that thing in and get his first goal of the playoffs after that suspension that he just came back from in Game 3, where he missed a lot of the second round and the first game of the Eastern Conference Final for the North Bay Battalion. Their captain gets them on the board and gets the rocking crowd here at the North Bay Memorial Gardens going early, 38 seconds in. Then Sandis Vilmanis, who was a real story in this game, scored again at the 7:35 mark, assisted by Paul Christopoulos, to give them another 2-0 lead, which they also had in Game 1 of this series back in Oshawa. And kind of the same story that we saw in that first game, the Oshawa Generals were able to battle right back, and it was Connor Lockhart at the 17-minute mark getting the goal from Beckett Seneca and Calum Ritchie to give the Generals some life going into the first intermission, and you really thought at that point Oshawa had weathered the storm on the North Bay Battalion and were starting to gain the momentum back themselves, getting that late goal there to cut it within 1, and they're only going to the room down 2-1 despite being outshot 13-7 in that first period. We got early in the second, Beckett Seneca with his first of the night, his 9th of the playoffs, draft-eligible player in the NHL. You can see why he really took over in this game, and in my opinion was the most noticeable Oshawa General on this night. 3:50 in, was able to get that goal to get the Generals back even at 2-2 after being down 2-0. Shortly after that, the battalion get a power play, and kind of sloppy play at the blue line by Sandis Vilmanis. He did a lot of good things in this game tonight, but that was one mistake that he'll want to have back. Fumbled the puck at the blue line as a forward with the 4 forwards there on the power play. And Dylan Robrick was able to pick his pocket there, go in and go forehand on Mike McIver to give the Oshawa Generals the 3-2 lead, erasing a 2-0 deficit from early in the game. And that really felt like a backbreaker after Oshawa had been down and they scored 3 unanswered to really, make sure that this game was theirs for the taking. And they really started to see the second half of this game, the Generals were gaining that momentum, and they were kind of picking up their game, as we saw once again with North Bay, the fast-starting team in this series, that they basically went through last year with the Peterborough Petes being a quick-starting team, and now they've kind of transitioned into that role. So the 3-2 lead for the Generals as they headed to the third period, and it was almost at the 10-minute mark that Tanias Mathurin takes the pass from Anthony Romani, cuts down from the point and is able to wrist one glove side on Jacob Oster with some bodies in front to get the Battalion even in this game, 3-3 at the 9:55 mark. And that really felt like a big goal for the Battalion, just to be able to know that they can battle back as well, not just be the team that gets off to an early start and has the Generals just take over from that point. So Tanias Mathurin, great time to get his first playoff goal and get the Battalion even. But just less than 2 minutes later, Beckett Seneca, with his second goal of the night from Zachary Sandu and Luca Morelli, gaining the Generals their lead back, which really felt like, oh man, the Battalion just finally fought back, even the game up, and Beckett Seneca was able to give the Generals the lead right back and force the Battalion to really have to play hardball on their court and really have to dig deep to find something here. And it was Beckett Seneca who, like I mentioned, was just on a mission tonight. Could have had probably 4 or 5 goals. The projected first-rounder in the upcoming NHL draft just really took over in this game. That was a shot from the high slot there and just beat McIver, who has been sensational in this series, but I would say that this was his worst game overall, and that's not taking anything away from what McIver's done or what he did in this game to eventually get them the victory. But it just felt like he had come up with some very Dom DiVincentis-esque performances in the first 3 games here, and the Generals were able to get to him there with 4 goals on their 31 shots. So, again, not going to blame Mike McIver at all, but with the high standards that he set in the first 3 games of the series, this was probably the one game that he'd probably like to have a couple of those goals back that he did give up. But as far as not giving up, the Battalion, the goaltender pulled with 2 minutes left. They were able to get some offensive zone time, needed that game-tying goal to save their season, and as Dallin Wakely getting the puck over to Paul Christopoulos near the half wall on the right side, more so towards the slot, and he just kind of wrists one that goes far side on Jacob Oster, blocker side. A very tough angle shot that fooled the Oshawa Generals goaltender and got the game tied with Christopoulos' second of the playoffs at 18:51, and that got the Battalion crowd right back into it again and giving them all the momentum going into the overtime period, getting the game tied at 4 to save their season with their goaltender pulled. Oshawa didn't really have many chances to score on the empty net. The Battalion were controlling the play with the extra man there. I believe it came out of the zone one time, but Oshawa really wasn't able to get it down the ice and have a real shot at that empty net. Get to the overtime period. Flurry right off the bat from Derek Laxdal's team. I think that was probably the message, to fire pucks early on Mike McIver. They had a ton of traffic out in front. They were able to just continue to cycle the puck around. A few great chances, a few tips that went just wide or McIver was able to get a piece of. And then the great chance in the middle of the slot there from Beckett Seneca. He beats Mike McIver but hits off the crossbar, which would have been his hat-trick goal. And that one really felt like that was the chance for the Oshawa Generals to really end this thing. Then you saw later in the overtime at the 6:02 mark, Liam Arnsby was able to take the puck, carry it over the blue line, and it seemed like he drew some Oshawa Generals defenders to him, leaving Sandis Vilmanis with some space cutting down there on the right wing, and he just wrist one right past Jacob Oster for his second of the game, and putting the Memorial Gardens into a frenzy. It was a great moment here to see the Battalion at least pick up one win in front of their home crowd, and showing what the Memorial Gardens sold-out crowd here tonight was able to do. And Vilmanis, with his 4th point of the night, 2 goals, 2 assists, caps it off with the big come-from-behind victory after they led early, and then were down late, had to come back multiple times in the game, and the Battalion take it by a 5-4 final, and will live to see another day on Friday in Oshawa. Again, they're going to have to win 2 of the next 3 on the road in Oshawa, but if they can carry this momentum, any sort of it, into the next game, they at least know that they can beat Jacob Oster, and that's been something in the series that I think the Oshawa goaltender has put doubts in the Battalion's mind at times this season. We're going to take a break on our show today. We're going to come back with all the post-game coverage from both teams, and we'll get my player of the game as well. It's going to be pretty obvious to know who I'm going to pick there, but we'll get to it anyway. great thoughts from both head coaches and players as well that you're going to not want to miss on segment 2. So stay right here. We're right back on OHL Overtime, right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network, proudly brought to you by Wild Bill's Auto Repair, helping customers stay safe and confident on the road since 2012.
Wild Bill's Auto Repair is your local center for auto maintenance and repair in the Niagara region. Since 2012, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop has been helping customers stay safe and confident on the road, knowing their vehicles in top running condition through their services. Located at 7868 Oakwood Drive in Niagara Falls, the garage started as a tribute to the owner's father, William Robert Hunter, who passed away, continuing the same community spirit and high level of service which customers came to expect from him back at Hunter's Auto Repair. Their multi-award-winning auto shop has earned the trust of the Niagara community with its fair treatment of all customers, who can feel confident they'll get the trustworthy advice and repairs during their visit. Their experienced crew loves meeting new people and looks forward to forming a lasting partnership for the care of your cars. To find out more or to book service, contact them today. 905-358-7868 or wildbillsauto.ca. Wild Bill's Auto Repair, helping customers stay safe and confident on the road since 2012. In the Niagara region, Global Pet Foods is your destination for premium pet nutrition and caring expertise. Whether you've welcomed a new furry family member or need advice on top quality nutrition, their dedicated staff is ready to help. Discover why Global Pet Foods' lesser-known premium brands outshine the big corporate names. Their team's passion ensures your pet's health and vitality. Check out one of their locations today. 3643 Portage Road in Niagara Falls, 160 Highway 20 in Font Hill, or 400 Scott Street and 344 Glendale Avenue in St. Catharines. Global Pet Foods, where premium brands and caring staff make the difference.
Niagara Golf Lounge features 2 state-of-the-art indoor golf simulators, allowing you to play some of the world's best courses all year round. The perfect place to indulge all season long. Don't worry about getting thirsty while you play around with your friends. Their fully stocked bar offers a wide selection of drinks, appetizers, and a variety of meals are also available to enjoy before, during, or after you play. Grab a seat next to the fire in their comfortable sports lounge. Didn't bring your clubs? No problem. They have partnered with TaylorMade to offer you the best rental clubs. You won't want to miss their exclusive NFL and NHL giveaways for the Buffalo Sabres and Buffalo Bills. Located in the Best Western Plus Cairncroft Hotel, 6400 Lundy's Lane in Niagara Falls. Visit NiagaraGolfVacations.com to learn more and to reserve your golf bay today. The Niagara Golf Lounge, Niagara's home for golf and sport all year round.
Since 1999, Niagara Dental Clinic has been helping thousands of patients achieve natural-looking smiles with the confidence to show them off. Sean Patel and his wife Ann, both licensed denturists, bring a wealth of skill and experience to the warm and friendly atmosphere to their Niagara Falls location at 5501 Drummond Road. And their on-site Niagara Hearing Clinic offers free hearing tests and a variety of services to fit your needs. This family-run practice takes pride in providing superior care and service to their patients, along with the best premium products available on the market. Get the best work done at a more reasonable price. Niagara Dental Clinic is here to help. Protect your teeth with a mouth guard, replace missing teeth, and get better hold with your dental implants. Call them today for a free consultation at 905-353-1552 or check them out online at NiagaraDentalClinic.com. Niagara Dental Clinic, creating natural smiles in the Niagara region for 25 years. J&L Flooring is Niagara's specialty flooring and design company. They take great pride and provide elite customer service and support. With a beautiful showroom, great pricing, and a wide variety of truly unique products, J&L Flooring is your specialty flooring and decor boutique shop. All of their products are environmentally friendly and responsibly produced so you can feel good about your flooring choices. Their goal is to build authentic relationships based on honesty and integrity that they foster with respect and authenticity. Offering a unique and wide range of quality products presented by a knowledgeable and patient team, they simplify the process to make your life easier and to make your home more beautiful. Visit them at 4424 Montrose Road in Niagara Falls or find out more at jnlflooring.com. If you think you can get a better deal anywhere else, you don't know Jack at J&L Flooring.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network, the Niagara region's best local source for North American sports podcasting coverage. By sports fans, for sports fans.
Welcome back to part 2 of today's OHL game recap right here on OHL Overtime on the Armchair GM Sports Network, proudly brought to you by Wild Bill's Auto Repair. Brandon Caputo back with you, breaking down Game 4 of the OHL Eastern Conference Championship Series between the North Bay Battalion and the Oshawa Generals, with the North Bay Battalion coming out on top here in overtime, 5-4 in front of their home fans. Guys, make sure to give us a follow at Facebook, Twitter at Armchair GM Pod, as well as on Instagram, TikTok, our YouTube channel. We're on all that good stuff for you, and thank you to those today listening on demand on your favorite audio platform. Please give us some love on whatever one you chose to listen to us today. So with that said, on our second portion of today's show, we're going to get the post-game reaction from both teams. We'll start off with the Oshawa perspective from Derek Laxdal as well as Calum Ritchie. Brought to you by Global Pet Foods, where pets are undeniably part of the family in all 4 of their great Niagara region locations. Here are the Generals after not being able to close out the sweep and knowing that they have to go back home on Friday to try to close it out in Game 5 in front of their hometown crowd at the Tribute Community Center.
Welcome to coverage of Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Championship Series post-game, joined by Oshawa Generals head coach Derek Laxdal along with forward Calum Ritchie. Tonight's final 5-4 in overtime in favor of the North Bay Battalion. Coach, your team seemed to be pressing early there in overtime, but North Bay converts tonight. Maybe just give us your overall thoughts on tonight's game.
Oh, I thought North Bay started real quick. Obviously, they got behind the crowd right off the hop and scored that quick goal and got up 2-0. Give our guys credit for battling back to get it 2-2 and 3-2 and had a lead in the third. And then just give them credit for tying the game up. And we had a couple good looks in overtime, and that's hockey.
Calum, a point in every game in the series and assist tonight. Maybe just give us your thoughts on the team's effort. And, it looked like you were going to come away with the win there, but a late-time goal from North Bay.
Yeah, like Coach said, that we had a bad start to the game, got down 2-0, and we battled back hard, and we got a nice shorthanded goal there by Rubrick, and it's just tough. We can close it out there.
We'll take questions, guys. Please just wait for the microphone to come to you. I'll start with Jack, just because he's here.
Coach, your team battled back from a 2-0 deficit for the second time in this series. The compete level from your team was up tonight, missing Connor Punnett on the back end. What do you expect from your team to win into Game 5 on Friday?
Well, we just got to play the same way we're playing. I liked our game. I had no problem with it. At the end of the day, we had a lead late in the third period there, and they had a C&I shot that tied the game up. And North Bay's a good hockey club, right? So obviously we get a chance to go back in Oshawa now and play in front of our fans and get on the road here and get after it.
Calum, physical series for you and your teammates here. How do you rev it up in game number 5 on Friday?
Yeah, I think we all realized the opportunity here, and we're planning to go to the finals, right? So, we all know there's a big thing on the line here, and we all got to compete as hard as we can. And, you don't have to have any extra motivation for these games. Everyone's dialed in and ready to go.
Question for Coach. 3 or 4 games, North Bay had the lead to start the game, and then your team battled back. Just touch on the resiliency of your club to come back time and time again, and unfortunately didn't turn out for you tonight, but able to come back down early.
Well, our group's got a lot of belief. We're a young group, and we go out and play, right? And our guys, there's no panic with our guys. We're down 1, we're down 2, and give our guys a lot of credit. As the season's gone along this year, this group has matured a ton, and they've, with that growing during the year, it's given the ability to come back in games like that. And obviously, North Bay is a good hockey club, right? So there's 2 teams, only 2 points separate them in the regular season. So you're getting good hockey games. So we'll park this game here and get ready for Game 5.
Coach, Connor Punnett left last game. He took warm-ups today, but wasn't able to go. You put Rodriguez in there. So what was the thought process of having him take warm-ups and just not being ready to go? And what did you miss back there with all he brings you on the defensive side?
Oh, Connor's a big part of our team, but it's next man up.
Calum, I just want to ask you about Beckett Seneca. It's in his draft year. What have you seen from him taking another step in his development and showing off here in a big stage, trying to up his draft stock? What have you seen as a NHL draft pick yourself?
Yeah, no, I think he's an unbelievable player, and he's grown his game so much from last year. And he came into the league as a 16-year-old and was one of the better offensive players in the league. And he's grown his game so much defensively and a complete player. So he's really showing it in the playoffs here for sure.
Coach, the overtime, the push that you guys had, it seemed like you're very opportunistic, and when the battalion scored, you guys seemed to bounce back. so quickly, but talk about the push and that you put on in that first 5 minutes, and the reaction to. I mean, it's typical thing that happens in hockey is an opportunity the other way, and it goes in the net. But talk about that push you guys had.
Yeah, I'll give the guys a lot of credit. We've been in overtime already in the first 3 rounds here, and against Barrie and against Ottawa. So our guys are very comfortable with it, and we had some good looks. We had a crossbar, and we had a nice face-off play there set. We just missed on it, and we had a couple low plays. But you know what? Vilmanis is a heck of a hockey player. Like you give him a chance, he's going to bury it, and he buried a couple tonight. So he's been a big piece of their acquisition at the trade deadline, and you can't give him any time and space. He's a hell of a player. So again, that's we'll move on from it and get right here for Friday.
There was Derek Laxdal and Calum Ritchie on the Global Pet Foods post-game with the Oshawa Generals. Again, I asked Derek Laxdal to talk about what it's like missing Connor Punnett, and he just wanted to bluntly say we believe in the group that they have. He obviously means a lot to them back there, but didn't want to really go more into it about him being the late scratch after warm-ups and being able to fight it out there. We'll see if he's back Friday for Game 5, but I also asked Calum Ritchie about Beckett Seneca and what he's taken a step forward in his game there. So, good stuff there from the losing side for the first time in the series in Derek Laxdal's Oshawa Generals group, and they'll get ready back to go on Friday, get on the bus, get back home, get a good day of practice in tomorrow, most likely, and get ready to go there at the Tribute Community Center where they've been so good so far in the playoffs. Again, people want to talk about the power play differences in this game, or in the series. In this game, Oshawa only had 1 power play. North Bay had 3. Neither team were able to score on the man advantage. All these goals were scored either 5-on-5, there was a shorthanded goal, and there was a 6-on-5 goal as well. So we'll see where that takes the Oshawa Generals, but we'll get into our post-game with the North Bay Battalion perspective, brought to you by the Niagara Dental Clinic, creating natural smiles in Niagara for 25 years. If you forgot to bring your mouth guard on the ice or lost a chiclet, contact our licensed team of dental professionals in Niagara Falls today. Get your smile back on track. Here's head coach Ryan Oulahen and overtime hero Sandis Vilmanis after his big 4-point night and being able to stave off elimination, at least for one more game, getting the win in front of their raucous North Bay Memorial Gardens crowd.
Back with more post-game coverage of Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Championship Series. The North Bay Battalion 5-4 winners in overtime, joined by tonight's overtime hero Sandis Vilmanis, along with head coach Ryan Oulahen. And Sandis, tonight, we'll start with you. Big goal, 2 goals and 2 assists tonight, a 4-point effort. Maybe tell us about the overtime goal and how that went in.
I actually don't remember everything that happened, but we kind of got it in the zone, and then I think they're decommitted to Arnsby, and he just found me in the middle, and I just had to finish it.
Coach, another night with 40-plus shots. Huge goal from Paul Christopoulos there in the final minute and change, and then obviously Sandis coming through big for you. Has to feel good to see this group get rewarded for the hard work.
For sure. It's funny how you can get a sense as a coach sometimes when you get on the bench, and I had that sense the first shift. I know we scored early, but as soon as the puck drops, you could just see there's a feeling with our team here today, and we're certainly determined, right from puck drop. And things throughout the game, you continue to fight through those swings and ultimately getting down, and the guys just never quit. It was a remarkable atmosphere here today. Sandis and I were just talking on the way up here of, he's going to go on and play in the NHL, but he's going to remember games like this in this community with this crowd, with everything that's going on now, more than when he's playing for the Florida Panthers, like sometimes. So just an amazing game, and quickly turn the page, because what makes it sweeter is to not have it be a one-game thing for us. We got to get going here and get to Oshawa on Friday, and this will feel even better if we can have a good performance there.
Certainly a lot of great memories made in the OHL playoffs. Matt?
Coach Ryan, just tell me about getting 2 game-tying goals from defensemen that combined had one playoff goal going into tonight's game.
Unsung heroes, and then you should have heard some of the guesses of who was going to score the overtime winner in the in the coach's office before we went out because, yeah, you're totally right. You see, our glue guys, so to speak, the guys that don't always show up on the score sheet, but they play massive roles and minutes for us. Great shot by Tanias. Beautiful play. I mean, Paul's done that in the past where he just perfect spot and an amazing way to kind of climb back into it.
And for you, Sandis, tell me about what it does for the team and what you guys can do offensively when you get a guy like Anthony Romani back in the lineup.
Oh, it's great to have him back, and he's like a big missing piece in our first lineup, and because their guys have been playing a long time together, and I think their chemistry, the first line, is something else, and I hope they find their way back and get Romani. It's hard for me to speak in English.
Perfect.
With cameras on, but yeah, they've been really great in the season. So I feel like that's what we were missing this series. And Romani, as he's now here, we have 1 win and 3 more to go.
Coach Ryan, how proud are you of your squad for tonight's effort?
Extremely, yeah, for sure. I didn't expect anything less. I know it's easy to say after the result, but it was a calm feeling all day today. It was, you can just sense it amongst the group. You just knew that they were going to fight for each other no matter what here tonight. And again, it's going to enjoy it quickly because this is just one, and now we got to go into Oshawa on Friday, which is going to be a big challenge.
And just a quick follow-up for you, Coach. Are you a believer that momentum can carry over between games, or is that limited to the 60 minutes, or in this case, 65?
Well, there's always – I'm a big believer in playoffs that when the puck drops, the game is going to be a new narrative, but there's time in between today's game and that when that puck drops on Friday. You can shift the mental edge sometimes. Today, all the pressure was on us, of course, and now you're going to Oshawa. You try to throw a little bit of pressure back in their court now. They're going to be on home ice. They got some time to think about it. I'm sure they're going to try to, come out and finish the job on home ice. So to me, the pressure kind of shifts back to them in a way, and we can go in there and kind of play free.
Coach, you talked after Game 3 about how confident you were going into Wednesday, and you scored 5 goals, even strength tonight. A lot of the game was played even strength. Just how positive of that is for your group of scoring all your goals, even strength, and knowing that you can go toe-to-toe with that team.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned it here. Getting Anthony Romani back in the lineup was a big difference. Just the way now the lines shift and it's a trickle-down effect more than anything. But when you're able to kind of put together, they've been one of the best lines in junior hockey all season, just that chemistry that they have. And I think they're going to get better as this series moves on. That's just a way for us to develop a little bit more offense 5-on-5. So very encouraging.
Sandis, you guys got up 2-0, and then they scored three goals, including the shorthanded goal, but you were able to battle back with the momentum there. Can you just talk about what the feeling on the bench was after you gave up the 3 and knowing that the game wasn't over and you guys had to battle back a few other times there?
Yeah, sorry for the language. I was pissed on myself because, as you saw, it's kind of my mistake there. And but I just tried to keep thinking positive, and the bench was really positive. The guys helped me a lot. They gave me a fist bump and like a bump on my knee pads, and just said that it's all right, we're going to get this back, and so we did.
Coach, I know you don't want to talk about officiating, but what did the referee tell you on the goal that was given that maybe should have been disallowed?
That it wasn't goaltender interference.
Well, did he give an explanation on it?
That there was not any interference on the goaltender.
And can you talk about McIver's play in overtime? He came out pretty huge on some of those saves.
Whoa, yeah, big time. And they had a little bit of time probably to regroup there between the third period and overtime. They certainly threw everything at us there in the first couple minutes. I kind of just had it, again, you get these feelings, but if we could just get it going into the offensive zone, sometimes when you press like that, you're going to give something up. And we were talking to our guys going into overtime of not wanting to press. Just keep playing our way, keep playing 5 inside, and something's going to free up. And fortunately, it did.
Coach, maybe a us against the world mentality with the way some of the calls have gone, but how did you get the guys reeled in to be able to, that late in the game after that goal and the review, to be able to come back and get that tying goal and obviously carry on and score the goal in overtime?
I honestly give the credit to the players at that moment in time. You know, it's, again, as it's kind of gone, as the series has gone, and some of those, you know, there's no secret, some of the calls, I thought we were going to have a good chance on that call, so you make it. But at the same time, I knew I was risking losing the timeout. And if we go down here, I'm not going to have a timeout. I noticed the clock right away, so I knew we were going to have one timeout just naturally because with the 6 minutes to go. And that's really where we set up the 6-on-5 scenarios, our units, what we're going to do, and then really just left it to the group and just let them go. So that's kind of how it went.
The North Bay Battalion lived to play another day. Game 5, Friday night in Oshawa.
There were the post-game thoughts from the North Bay Battalion head coach Ryan Oulahen and forward Sandis Vilmanis, who I think he did a pretty good job there with his English. He wanted to say that wasn't that great, but I think he did a good job there and described that he's a little bit frustrated in himself for giving up the goal there on the power play where he got his pocket picked by Dylan Robrick. And great to hear that his teammates were all giving him support there and keeping it positive, not wanting him to really feel down about that. And obviously he goes out there and gets the overtime winner. Head coach Oulahen was asked again about the officiating, and he's not going to talk about it, but said it was goaltender interference, simply put. Didn't want to go any further than that, so I don't blame him in that sense. Todd was also asked about taking the challenge there, and regardless of losing the challenge, he loses his timeout. He felt at that point his team needed that rest there, and it worked out. They didn't even need the timeout late in the game. They were able to get that goal from Paul Christopoulos with 1:09 remaining in regulation without even needing the timeout to try to set up a play. So good thoughts there from the North Bay side of things. And again, they have to take it one game at a time here. And head coach Ryan Oulahen even said, they're going to enjoy this very quickly because they've got a lot of work ahead of them still. And they have to go up to Oshawa on Friday and try to win another game and hopefully take some positives from this game, that they know that they can beat this Oshawa Generals team, which that doubt has seeped into their minds over the last 3 games, how the series kind of has started. So with that, I'm going to put myself on the spot with no guest co-host tonight with my player of the game, brought to you by the Niagara Golf Lounge. Niagara's home for golf and sport year-round, located in the best Western Carencroft Hotel in Niagara Falls. Visit NiagaraGolfVacations.com to learn more, to host an event, or to book your golf bay today. The North Bay Battalion will not be sent home golfing as of yet, as they stay in this series. And I'm going to give it, shocker here, to Sandis Vilmanis, 2 goals, 2 assists. But another player that I want to highlight is Beckett Seneca, 2 goals and an assist for the Oshawa Generals. Almost had the hat-trick, hit the crossbar, and to me, he was the best player on the ice for both teams tonight, consistently from start to finish. Vilmanis had that one play at the blue line that led to a goal, so I'm going to give him a little, knock him down a few rungs on that, even though he did score the big 2 goals, 2 assists, and the overtime winner. I'm going to say he does get the player of the game, but very close honorable mention to Beckett Seneca, and if you would have capped off the hat-trick there with the OT winner and sending the Oshawa Generals home happy, he would have definitely been the player of the game, but it'll go to Sandis Vilmanis, the Florida Panthers prospect tonight. So with that said, that'll wrap up another OHL game recap right here on OHL Overtime on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Thank you to those today who tuned in on your favorite on-demand audio platform or on YouTube podcasts as well. Thank you very much to everybody listening in there. Going to continue on our coverage. We'll be in Oshawa for Friday's game. Hopefully have a post-game show there, and then get ready for the OHL Championship, wherever that may be. So thank you to everybody who stuck around with us for our extended coverage here as we finish off the month of May here on the network as we approach our summer break. So that's it. The North Bay Battalion take it 5-4 in overtime, a big comeback victory to stave off elimination at home in front of their Memorial Gardens crowd here. I was trying to find the attendance, 41,902 in attendance at North Bay Memorial Gardens, and they were a rocking house tonight. If that was the final game at home for the North Bay Battalion, at least you can take some solace in saying that was a great one to send them off on. An overtime winner in front of a sold-out crowd here. So much passion here in North Bay, and the program that they've built over the last couple of years is really something special. 3 years in a row in the Eastern Conference Final. We'll see if they can run the table and get back in this thing. The Generals still lead the series 3-1, but the Battalion are victorious on this night. Remaining alive, 5-4 in overtime. Sandis Vilmanis with the winner. That's it. Brandon Caputo signing off from North Bay. Got to get back home to the Niagara region before getting back up to Oshawa on Friday night. So until next time, another episode of OHL Overtime right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network, brought to you by Wild Bill's Auto Repair, and we'll talk to you again after Friday night's game.